Good morning. Okay, here. Good morning. Okay. Good morning, good morning, good morning. Good morning, good morning, good morning. Hi, everybody. Good morning. Welcome to Yoga Power Flow. This is so exciting. Power Flow is like hard yoga's name. It probably scares people. They're like, I'm going to watch this one. Hey, honey, there's a show on TV. We'll watch this one. You can watch them wipe out and die. Like me watching the Academy Awards, watching them having starved to death. It's actually more like regular vinyasa yoga, hatha yoga. And then we add in, some exciting and fun stuff. And we add in power moves that you can, and that's what it looks like most of the time, because so few of us are in a place where, we feel like a headstand is even something that, we want to do. So eventually in a class, you just kind of gracefully are moving into these power poses. So in a power yoga class, you kind of want to kind of move them with as much grace as you can without, stopping the whole house and being like, hey, everybody, watch me wipe out and do this. But rather just make it part of your flow and your sequence. And maybe you don't go far, maybe you do. So it kind of, as you're getting ready here, we're going to be using a mat today. And I have a towel on a mat. If you happen to have one, you may not. And that's okay too. You can use the whatever you got. The issues usually when you add extra stuff is that they become distractions of themselves. And since you're not in a heated yoga class where they want you to sweat a bunch and purge a pound or two of water, that pound or two of water's got to land somewhere, and it lands in your clothes and on your mat. And oftentimes people don't have enough strength, equilibrium strength is what I mean by that, to grab and work through sweat like that, because that's also a layer of advancement when you don't need a towel anymore, even when it's a sweaty environment. So we're not using that. I haven't used that type of heat in like 8 years now. I solely practice with just kind of warm. And my idea is I'm trying to get my body to heat up from the inside out so that I'm utilizing a lot more energy and a lot of calories. And I always kind of thought, having taught, and I've taught in the hot classes, I taught Bikram, hot yoga, but for 5 years. I taught vinyasa, power vinyasa, level 3 power vinyasa, and power fusion mixed with hatha, the traditional hot yoga sequence in the heat. And it started to kind of elaborate, and people were doing treadmills in the heat and cycle in the heat and everything. And it was really creating a lot of intensity in there. So that's all I'm going to say about that, is it just increases a lot of the intensity. The one thing I noticed that's majorly different from having been in those type of classes is that, and I'm kind of just talking, getting people ready to get settled in here, is that you also lose a lot of water and minerals, and it's different for each of the body types. So if you're someone who is like thinner naturally, then you're not going to need, you really can't lose a lot of your water because you don't have a lot to lose. And because of that, you lose a lot of nutrients. And that's where things can go awry in the nutrient department. Your electrolytes get off, and all of a sudden you have like these astronomical problems with levels of your potassium and levels of your sodium. I know someone very well, she could be even on here too, that her blood pressure was really low, and the doctors are like, we don't know. And this is 2 or 3 times I've heard this from people too. In studying Ayurveda, I was like, wow, usually it's too high. What can we do to bring it down? And when it's too low, we have to wonder. In this particular case where these 3 people had a similar outcome, it was because the sodium was off, and they were eating a lot of sea salt, and sea salt doesn't have those minerals in it. If you watch my nut milk workshop, and I was talking about milk and balls, because that's what I like to do because I'm a dork. But we were talking about the sea salt and how much that minerals are in that sea salt, and that those minerals aren't in mineral salt, not in sea salt. Sea salt, table salt. Sally sold seashells on the seashore. I don't know what the hell I'm talking about. All right, so What I mean by that as well is, what are you talking about, Monica? Okay, so when the sodium got so low, it caused the blood pressure to drop. And most of us don't experience that. You're like, well, that's all the salt I use. Yeah, but how many chips do you accidentally fall on and eat from the Doritos bag? You know what I'm talking about. You know what I'm talking about. So there's sodium that we get from processed foods. And unless you're perfect in processed foods, I'm not perfect in processed foods. But in this case, like I had some friends that were perfect in processed foods. They didn't eat any. And then what happened was they weren't getting that iodine. And that iodized sodium, you know, that we get in the table salt, the big one for $1. That's what's giving you those minerals. So if you're not eating a lot of minerals from your food and you didn't get it from your processed food, you know what I mean? It could cause this, you know, disruption in there. And it's hard to get the proper amount of sodium from your vegetables. You know what I mean? So that's an important thing that we add in, but we have it. It's just an abundance in our diet. Okay. So now we're going to do yoga. If you guys are ready to do some yoga. Hi, everybody. I'm so glad you're here. I really miss you guys. Yesterday, I tried to come in and do a class, and honestly, I couldn't get motivated. You know, and I think that, you know, a lot of us are feeling that. I was seeing some of my friends were posting, they're like, did you just feel weird yesterday? And everybody's like, oh, the stars and the planet and astrology and 5G and all this stuff's happening. There's a lot of stuff going on in these, you know, and it's very stressful. I don't know anything is true. I told you all, the only thing I know is nothing and yoga. I happen to know this really, really, really good. I'm going to stick here. And if you want a lot of like answers to nonsense, give me a buzz. Maybe give me a text. I know a lot of nonsense too. So I like that department. If we get serious, I just really like to, you know, I'm on Facebook a lot because I've been posting this stuff and I see a lot of dialogue and I'm a big loudmouth and it's hard for me not to pipe in and go, blah, 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 blah. That's what I say about that. And I've been noticing people are very, very, very edgy and they're wanting to box and fight if you don't see their perspective. And I just want everybody in the world that cares to watch to know, I don't care really what your perspective is. And what I mean by that is I think you have your own perspective. It's important to you. And what I really, truly hope for the world is that we can just simply open up our minds and hear information coming from different people and then making a decision. It's really not necessary for me to go, I don't feel that way, so let's go fight. What are we, 12? I mean, maybe when it comes to balls, but when it comes to talking about this kind of stuff, it's like, well, maybe I just haven't seen it in your perspective. Maybe I don't have that data. Maybe if I have the data, I would think differently. Maybe if I had the data, I'd think you were an idiot. Who knows what you would think? The point being is you need to give yourself the opportunity to look at this stuff, go, okay, well, you know, I don't have enough information to actually make a decision about that, but maybe I could investigate it a little bit further. Or another option is to stay the bleep out of it. You know, that's one too. And one is to go, you know what, I have information to share. Let me share it, and then we can actually dialogue as adults. I don't know if that's possible or not, because it's difficult because a lot of people are very passionate when they speak and then things can go awry when you're typing. So today we're going to get rid of all that. And we're going to let that whole world, you know, disappear as we come just together in our space. And we talk about these collective meditations that have been happening and all of these, you know, we have like a lot of people are saying this is the Great Awakening. And I've heard this coming for a long time. And that's why I feel confident in speaking about it. It's been coming. This whole thing has been predicted. I watched a documentary. The whole thing is predicted. A lot of energy around us and in us that we're not really tapping into. So let's just, for the sake of yoga practice, could we tap into that subliminal bubble around us? You know, because that's what we got right now. We've got our power, but then what we can do is we can really ignite it and then unite it. That's my next bumper sticker. Unite it and ignite it. That is our new thing for hard yoga. Today we're going to be going in Ekapada Urdhva Dhanurasana. That's why I don't speak in Sanskrit a lot. It's very long and it takes a long time to get out, which is upward facing bow. It's Ekapada, well in that case, single-legged is Ekapada. Urdhva Dhanurasana. So Urdhva Dhanurasana. It's the last thing we'll do in here today. And I don't know how warm I am, but I think I'll show it to you. And what I'd like you to think about is this thing here, and this isn't the Mac Daddy of our power class. It really is, you really need your body to be open to try to get into this one. And so whether you get into it or not, who's thinking cares? You know, will you be ready to open and explore it maybe deeper? That's sincerely what I hope for you. Okay, so if you're doing a upward facing bow from the ground, you're doing like, you'll see this because we're going to be starting with this. You'll do like a bridge. Don't do anything yet, just watch. So you'll do a bridge and then your hands go over and you press up. And then if you push really, really hard, you can straighten out. You can use variations. like straightening the legs out. This one, Ekapada, means I'm bringing one leg up. So that's what that means. And if you noticed, I didn't stop talking the whole time, which in and by itself isn't unusual because I can do that, but I did it through the whole pose. And what that means is I wasn't really unable to breathe at any point, and I have not warmed up. I just know my body, don't do that. I happen to know my body, and that's, to me, I could do that as a warm up. So I talked through it. I knew I could do that because it wasn't strenuous for me. So if these are super strenuous, I think you need to kind of back off and then teeter in the edge where I'm like, I think she's trying to kill me, but I'm not falling for it. And you stay right there. Now, sometimes if you get too far over the edge, like you're trying to balance, and I'm like, hey, lift up your tiptoe, and then try to come up, and then try to lift it, and then try to kick it, and all of a sudden you fall out, you're like, oh my gosh, that's going over the edge. And in this case, you won't die. So that's good. It teaches us that, but it teaches us to get the courage to get right up, right where it gets scary, and then do it anyway. Now, I'm not saying do be, being ignorant about it. Don't be a dum-dum. Don't be like, I've never done yoga today and she's doing headstands. Yeah, don't do that today. But think about what feels safe, but you're just scared to try it. Make sure there's not a lot of furniture and sharp objects. No sharp objects around. If you've got lamps, get rid of those babies right now. Clear it out. The family doesn't know what you're doing. They'll stay away from you anyway. But this time, they don't want anything to do with you anyway. They're like, we want to go into our rooms and play our video games. Okay, so now we're going to begin our yoga. So let's start on our backs, you guys. Move my jazz out of the way. So let's place our feet onto the floor. And you'll notice this is the first time you'll be in this posture. So as our feet are onto the floor, we'll start first with the breath. You don't want your feet all the way up here. You just want it comfortable. Like just place your feet down. Open up your knees. Place your right hand. I'm going to place that right in kind of the center of my chest here. I put it right where my ribs come together and then right below the belly button. You could also place them outside your body, palms up. From here, the chin comes down, the eyes closed, and now we're going into just a few deep breaths here. We cleanse the body and reconnect the brain here. So as the brain is detaching from my shenanigans, and it's centering now into your shenanigans, allow your breath to deepen. Just let it slowly deepen. Feel the power that you can move into that breath now. Good, now do that again on your own. The idea is taking about a 5 or 6, filling the body until you feel absolutely full again. Then holding the breath just for the first few, maybe after a while it becomes a cycle. And then you let it slowly go. This will help collect the stale air that's occupied most of your lung capacity. Holding it, and it will push it out. You now have a lot more abundance, more space, right? So with that new space, that breath can grow longer. Some people's breaths, if you have yogis in your class, it's kind of annoying actually because they move so stinking slow, you want to stab them. But it's because their breath is so slow. And if they're truly honoring their breath, they're going so very slow. So you'll notice that your body will probably move into patterns of breath where sometimes it speeds up and it slows down depending on what you're doing. Just keep it slow. If it went as slow as everybody could, we'd never get out of a class. So just kind of compromising, I think, between the two. And as you take your next breath, just bring your knees towards each other, walk the feet back. They need to be grounded, your feet. If you're up on your tiptoes, it's not very helpful here. So you want to get them down, whatever that looks like, and the hands are down. Now on the next exhale, lift your hips up towards the sky. Maybe walk your shoulder blades in. And what I'm trying to do is I just want to get closer to my feet closer to my shoulders without lifting the feet off the floor. Most people, the knees open out wide. So now it's just a slow, deep breath. There's a few things notable in this pose. The glutes are very active here. So this is a really good posture to strengthen the glutes. It also is a good posture to help us disperse the energy that relates from the very back of the leg, the hamstring, where it turns right into that glute. So that little piece, I gotta tell you ladies, it's that saggy little part where you put your bathing suit on for the first time and you look around and you're like, what the hell just happened there? It's like, just starts falling off. It's right there where it starts falling off. So if you can think about that spot, men don't usually have that problem. They just really don't, just the way our hormones are and where we hold on to body fat. So as you're kind of squeezing and lifting and the knees pulling. Now, if you push your hands into the mat, you press your elbows into the mat, and you push your shoulders into the mat, do you feel that lift? And when you did, your attention went here. So then this wasn't so bad. Now you're going to find the balance of that attention and energy between the two. Imagine I walked just right up to you. I placed a beach ball between the knees, and I said, just hold on to this. Don't let it go. So as you're holding onto the beach ball, it's not hard, it's soft. So just a soft squeeze. On the next inhale, lower down to the mat. Then on the next exhale, press it up. We'll only do like 3 of these, not very long. Could you go higher then with that lift? Higher. And then just keep going. You're going to do that actually a few times while I get myself dressed here. So exhaling, what we're learning here is we're connecting the psychology of moving with the breath. So our movements become matched. And again, you're noticing it because as soon as something shiny and bells and whistles happen somewhere else, you're probably going to draw away and forget about it. So we're just rechecking in over and over with that breath. Now on the next one, hold your lift. So go up as high as you can, but just hold it. Close the eyes and take 2 to 3 breaths here. Try not to think about anything but just the breath. Just bring it back. Just don't follow that little thought off. Take your final breath. When you begin to exhale, slowly lower the hips down to the mat. And when they come down to the mat, draw your knees up towards your chest. All right, so let's wake up our core muscles here. When you get your hands back behind your head, then kind of let the head fall back there. The knees will come up, the chest will come up. My elbows are in, I'm all not pulling my head. I'm just kind of lifting enough to squeeze the belly. Then come back down and tap the toes. Close to your bum like you're dipping your toes in water. And lift. And lower, and squeeze, and lower, and lift, and lower. So if you notice my upper body's not really moving a whole lot, it's kind of coming just down a little bit, and I'm coming up to give it a little extra squeeze. So stabilizing more the upper body, and I've got my lower bodies, kind of moving up and down. Anybody local here or along, Pacific Coast Highway, along the California coast here, there's all these oil rigs that kind of are just there. They're pumping oil. It's really interesting. You kind of just don't see them after a while because, it's a pretty common sight, especially for the wetlands. But if you think about those, think about them just coming up and down. So eventually the upper body is not moving at all. I'm holding this upper bondos, the upper belly muscles, and these lower ones are coming up and reacting with the hip flexor. So as you're coming up and squeezing, tap as close to your bottom as you can. And what you're going to feel is these lower abdominal muscles, which are connecting very deeply into the bandhas, the muscles that attach to the abdominal muscles and then into the organs. You'll feel that it's starting to get a little deeper. Our goal here is to connect such an awareness in the core that when you pull the belly in, the entire core responds. So it's really a work in progress. And as you come up, we're just going to hold our lift now. Good, now just slowly those toes dipping on. That's it, hold your upper body. Try to lift your tail off the floor, even if it's for just a little second. Down and up, down and up, squeeze. You should be really feeling that lower belly now. Just a few more of those. And then when you come up on not this one, the next one, hold it up. Now hold it up and just stay here. You don't have to lift your tail, you don't have to lift the shoulders. We're gonna take now the right leg, extend it straight out so it's covering out or off the floor. The right elbow over to the left leg. Then take the left leg, which is at the elbow, straighten it out. So both legs straight. Simply bring them up as you go to center, cross over, and bring your opposing elbow to the opposing knee. Come up now and squeeze the belly. You'll feel the abdominals now connecting to the obliques and the hip flexor. And here we go. Just slowly alternating side to side. I'm trying to kind of let go of some of the weight that's in my neck by letting my hands slowly one at a time. You don't have to lower the legs all the way to the floor unless you're super strong and that feels like that's more your edge for you. But notice where your lower back is because the lower back will oftentimes pull up off the floor to help you go. And it's like, what the hell are you doing it for anyway? It's not like you're going to even get any gold stars or anything. So close your eyes and just think about that form and that technique. You only got a couple more. By now you should be done anyway. So when you get back to that last one, we'll say that your left elbow's back to the right knee. Let's come back together now and bring the knees in. Once the knees are in, pull them into your chest and try to flatten your spine. Now circle those knees around a couple times. Let's lubricate the hip, right? Because we want to get this all kind of communicating now. Just communicating. The hips like to kind of absorb all of the busyness of what's happening around us. right? Especially as we deal with all of our family members. Now take the knees and we're gonna rock and roll it to a seat. When you get up to your seat, just the feet are out in front of you and they're pretty comfortably out in front of you. Don't walk them back, don't do anything. If you're like, I don't know what I just did, roll back and set them back down. And then when they're down, the feet are flat, just grab the knees. You know, imagine like you're sitting down on the grass and having a picnic and you're lifting just to kind of give your back a little bit of a break, you know, straighten out the back because you've been slumped back for too long. And then when you get there, slide your hands back. Just walk them back behind your hips until you get your palms down to the mat. Now, doesn't this familiar? Because remember I said, hey, we're going to be here. So this is your hands just without having to push them over your head. So if you do it here, you can do it in the other place. Now press into the feet, reverse tabletop. Lift your hips up about as high as your knees if you can, or as high as they'll go. I'm going to squeeze in that beach ball again. Lift the chest up, open the throat, and then open the shoulders as best you can. Stay there. The shoulder's hard for me to talk here. The shoulder is going to feel like it's rounded and forward, which will make the pose very difficult and uncomfortable. Until you can get your upper body and the chest to press through and these shoulders to pull back, it's probably going to be hard to breathe a little bit too, which is why it's a little hard for me to talk there. Try to take 2 more breaths. I'll get in here if I can. And then if it's too much, your head can come up. You can kind of draw your chin towards your chest and look at the knees. If you can stay here, let's take 2 breaths. Hold on to that beach ball. Stay calm. You can totally do this. It's just hard. All right, now come down with the gaze, and you can kind of lower your hips a little bit. I just want to make sure that I'm here in view. Okay. All right, now we're going to take our, let me think about this, right leg. So my right leg is going to kick out from reverse tabletop, and I'm going to place that heel right into the back. Now push the weight into the heel, right? Turn the right hand around, the same one as the leg that's straight. Turn it around, and then push into this foot that's bent, the D that's bent. Push into that. This is wild thing. Kind of lift up. Yeah, lift up and out. So it's also a really interesting other pose. So are you here? So I was down, I lifted up, and then I just kind of turned. Now lift your chest up. Let the arm float over your body. This one's a really beautiful pose to photograph, by the way. You'll see it in a lot of them. It's pretty. Now, if you were able to trust yourself, and you don't have to, you're like, I don't trust myself. Trust me, I've been out drinking with myself. It's not a good idea. Then you can stay here. But if you can stay with the weight in that straight leg, you could go right into a side plank by stacking that foot and turning or framing your hips. You could also have left it lifted. For those of you who are like, where's the power in this flow? So it's kind of like a side plank, right? Kind of nifty. All right, now we're going to come back, just lowering the foot and then coming back, lowering the hip. And then all we're going to do is grab that knee and then grab the other one. Yeah, and we're right into the other side. All right, now lift your chest, lift your heart. I left something out. I'm so sad. It was a pretty cool thing. I don't know if we should go back and throw it in. I'll do it on the other side. And then maybe I'll flip us and do it on the other side before you have time to decide if you like it or not. It's really a good trick to crisscross applesauce these obliques. All right, so now if we're doing that all again, I'm just hanging out here. Hands are back, fingers are forward. Here I am strengthening my wrist. Push up to reverse tabletop. So get all the way up there. I'm not going to talk this time. And let's just take 5 breaths. Hold on to your beach ball. Did you hear that? That was nice. Press to the feet, all 4 corners. You'll feel the glutes activate. Push the shoulders back. Push. You got this. Good. Now bring the gaze forward. Lower hips a bit. Straighten out the left leg. Turn your left hand around, the same one that you just lifted. Push through the right heel and lift for left. All right, this is the thing I was going to add on. So we're going to not stay here quite as long so I can add it on, and then we'll do the other side. So I'm coming up, and you don't have to do this because this is where we went to that side plank. So watch me. I'm going to pick up my back leg, if anybody's joining me, and I'm going to exaggerate it so you can see where the weight is in my foot. So I'm going to pick up my back leg, put the weight in my front leg, and put the front foot, or put the top foot in front of it. So I'm going to step in front of it, but I'm kind of on the inside of that foot, and then I'm going to lift the back knee up. So it was here, and I brought it through, and I brought the elbow to the knee, and reached across my body. Elbow to the knee, reached across the body. Elbow to the knee. Just 2 more of those. Elbow, knee, reach. 1 more. Good. Then place the weight back and into your side plank. Now watch, place the right foot behind you, lower your left hip, bring your right hand down, flip your left hand around, press up, bend the left knee, straighten the right, and turn. So now we're in wild thing, just the other side. It's like just twisting the side plank, really. Then we're going to pick up our back leg, stack it in front of the foot that's holding us, and then transfer the weight to that foot and bring the back one up. So that oblique, once again, is gonna have to kick into gear to do this one. And if you're like all over the place, just huff and puff and get through it. Let's do 3. 3, reach, 2, oh, there's my microphone thing, and 1 more. All right, now to come back, right, I'm gonna put the weight bend to my bottom leg, step the back, top one back, and lower down. How'd we do? Grab your knees. Hot mess, did it? You can comment if you want, you can do it later. All right, lift. I've been sitting at this park too long. Not these days, right? All right, here we go. Let's bring our knees up, cross the ankles, place the hands onto the mat, and step back. Downward facing dog. Yeah, what did it take? Almost a half an hour. Downward facing dog. Here we are. Spread the fingers wide, press your tail to the sky, roll the shoulders back. Your body is an inverted V. Not a weird V, not one side longer than the other V. The V has the exact amount of length and strength and energy in both sides. So where can you do? You push the ground away, you push the heels down, you lift the toes up, and then you meet at the tail. And you push that tail up there real strong. If you're in the proper distance for downward facing dog, you'd be able to roll into a high push-up without adjusting your hands. Most people have to adjust the hands to get their shoulders out over their fingertips or wrist. I'm on my tips of my toes, my shoulders are over the tips of the fingers. Then as I push back, my heels come down, I'm right in my down dog. So this is my true alignment for down dog. Most people are short, meaning they're here and they're pushing back. Right? And they're feeling it in a stretch, but it's not an equal stretch. Equal is what we're looking for. Neutral is what we're looking for here. As you take your last 2 breaths, see if you can become very still. Very still as I get my routine together. Okay, so we're going to lift our right leg to the sky in the next breath. Inhale. Now exhale, drag the right knee through. Place the foot between the hands into low lunge. Bring your right arm up to the sky. Reach it back behind you. And then circle it around, take it under the left arm in front of the right leg, and then back to the sky. Let's do that a couple more times. The left leg is long, but the left knee is straight, and it's very strong. Good. Right arm will stay up now as you move to the fingertips of your left hand. Draw the belly muscles in that we warmed up. Place your right hand against your lower back, and then draw your ribs in one last time before pulling yourself up slowly. So I'm lifting, and then my arm is out in front of me. Take a moment to put weight into your back tail as you push into it with your right hand, sinking forward into that front knee. The back knee will come down, but also that back hip will drop. So pull the back hip up, frame them, then sink in. This right hand has helped you to get that first. Without this squeezing of the thighs and the support system, the other is going to be very unstable. The left arm will lift up towards the sky. And if you'd like to go deeper, you can reach out the ribs. There's a lot of people. If you're falling all over the place, open your feet wider. And then don't lift your arm up so high. Just keep your gaze and your arm forward. If you're able to twist and reach back, then you can start challenging your balance more. I'm going to take about 3 or 4 more breaths here. So see if you can find a place to be without saying those bad things in your mind and being able to really return back towards your breathing. Now, if you're going deeper, it's in the right knee or dimming or closing the eyes. Take 1 more breath and begin to turn towards your left, Virabhadrasana 2. So as that left heel comes down, the left arm comes down. Now the right arm is up, Warrior 2. Sink in and out of that right knee maybe a few times, see if you can't warm it up. And then reach the arms apart strong as you sink into where you're going to hold. Now once you get there and you're sinking deep into that knee, the knee is right over the ankle. It's not over the toe. The hamstring can go as deep as parallel to the floor, but that's really, really deep. Most people are kind of somewhere in the middle of straight-legged and all the way in final position. So with the shoulders back, it feels like someone's pulling your left arm back. Let's take 2 more breaths here. Now reach forward. As you reach forward, inhale your breath like you're going to reach to hand someone something, and place the right elbow onto the thigh. This will perfectly align your back. Left arm comes up. And this is important because if you don't have a perfectly aligned back for some of the poses that we're doing, you're going to feel stretch, you're going to feel benefits going through, but you're not optimizing your chances of getting this pose correctly. So as you're here, I've got my back nice and straight. So my friends that go deeper, I'm going to straighten the arm out. So notice, can you get your elbow above your knee and it's straight without doing anything? Sink into the knee. Fingers in the middle of my toe to the next one over. So it's really, really, really the knee getting deeper. That's really getting that on this one. So just a few more breaths here. We're going to give you an option, my friends. I want to go power. We're going to go deeper here. One more deep breath. Now pull yourself up slowly and just reverse as you inhale. We won't stay long. That right leg needs a little bit of love. Exhale, breath, frame your foot and step back. All right, open up the floodgates. The blood is pumping through that hip. High to low push-up. Inhale, breath to upward facing dog. Lift your heart. Once you're here, your knees are off the floor for up dog. If not, that's okay. They're down. It's called cobra. Just take another breath, ankles in. Use your belly again and pull. Arms are strong. Shoulders are back. You're in your plank to your down dog. You're finding a neutral body. The tips of the toes lifting for more depth. The hands pushing a little harder, the knees drawing up and in. Tail splitting, the sits bones open. You can feel it can kind of spread. Take one more breath. At the bottom of this exhale, lift the left leg up. Smooth, smooth, smooth. Inhale, breath. Exhale, breath. Low lunge. Bring it through. Place the foot between the hands. You may have to help that out. All right, are you ready? Right palm down, left arm up. Reach behind you, and then inhale as you circle around and under this right arm. Exhale, open it up. Let's do this again now. Let's move through the body. Inhale under and exhale, open. Good. Maybe close or dim your eyes if you're getting good at this. Keep them wide open if you're brand new. Just listen to the sound of your breath. You do not have to master these movements. Hold the arm up. Good. Now, once you're there, you're going to place the hand against the low back. And this is going to bring awareness to the back and allow your belly to pull in, especially when you go to the fingertips, because the core is like, well, if the hand doesn't have the weight, then your belly goes, I guess I've got to do it. And it knows that it's going to have to take over. So once the belly is in tight, these are these muscles right around the side of your waist. We're going to come up nice and smooth. So those are those ones that we worked in that crisscross applesauce, those bicycles with straight legs, all that stuff we did at the beginning. It's really helping us now to support our bodies. That's grounding. So we need to first be grounded. Grounding looks like the left foot completely flat, the toes grabbing the floor. The right knee is soft because it's able to get you deeper into the pose. So now that you're pushing into the low back, your hips will go forward. You can sink into that knee. This right hip is often lower than the left, so you're going to need to try to pull it up. When these muscles get more balanced, it doesn't tend to drop quite as far. Then the twist is at the middle of the back. That right hip dropped for help, and I bring it back up. Twist, twist, twist again. So here we are. The right arm is reaching out. The left palm is sinking forward. The left shoulder is coming back. So the middle of the ribs are twisting. And now let's breathe. For those of you going deeper, you're welcome to. Don't have to. So most of this posture is a grand illusion. And what I mean by that is it feels like you're going to fall over and wipe out. It's possible, but it's more of an illusion because we really can get out of it at any second. The right leg just simply starts turning towards the right. But as you're here, once you know that, then you're able to go for it. You're like, oh, I don't even care. I'm reckless. Because you know that right leg is there. Because you've been through it a couple times now. Kind of like life. You're like, shh. You ready? Slowly pivot to your right. Drop the heel. Now bring your right arm out. That was the illusion. That right leg was there. And it's like, oh yeah, that's strength. You do more stuff. Squeeze the thighs together. Reach the arms apart. Pull the back leg back. Open the front knee forward. Keep your belly muscles and all those ones you got engaged in. Now sink deeper into that knee if it makes sense. If you're like, my left leg is going to break off, then you straighten it out for a second. and you go back in. Sometimes when your hip's not quite properly situated in that socket, you get it to pop. That's why people are like, ooh, and all of a sudden you hear this big pop. So you kind of need to go in and out of it a couple times to get it to kind of make that pop. And then once you're here, take your final breath or two, and then we're going to go into that side angle. Your back leg is very, very strong. Belly muscles in very tight. Now reach forward, place the elbow onto the thigh. Leave it off the knee, and then you straighten it out. Instead of lowering the arm, see, that lowers my back. Instead of changing my back, bend the knee. Bend the knee. Bend the knee. Maybe it doesn't bend that far. Maybe that's the whole point, you know? And why do you have to go that far anyway? Why is it necessary? Nobody cares. And you want to listen to what your body cares. That's the one thing that does care. Truly cares. Cares so much. Screaming at you right now. You ready? 3. Wherever you want to be. And if you're like, my hip's going to fall off, straighten the leg out if you need to. Rest the elbow on the thigh too. Now inhale, pull yourself up. And as you do so, reverse the warrior. Hand can rest on the thigh, can go back behind you for support, but the forearm is very strong. And it's preventing me from really just kind of lifting recklessly out of the way. So I kind of lift out of the ribs. Same to those obliques. Frame your foot, step back to your plank, lower halfway down or all the way to the mat. When you get there, lift into a back bend, upward facing dog or cobra, shoulders back, knees are up. It should feel really good on the tops of the hips here. Exhale, downward facing dog, lift your hips and press to the sky. Okay, we're going to put that part together and see what that feels like. Take 2 more breaths. Downward facing dog. Really feel the body spread out in opposite directions. So the fingers to the head and then the heels to the tail. Right, fingers to the head. Oh, I'm saying. You want to go fingers to the tail. Don't stop at the head. That doesn't make any sense. So as you're pressing the ground away, feel the energy go all the way to the tail. I don't know why I stopped you there. And then at the heels, feel the energy go all the way up to the tail. So it's coming together in a pyramid shape. Inhale, breath, lift the right leg up. Exhale, breath, low lunge, step it through. Inhale, breath, lift your right arm up, but just leave it here and move to your fingertips of the left hand. Draw the belly muscles in now and pull yourself up. Left arm or the straight leg arm is coming up. The bent leg arm is coming down. It can rest on, it's independent on my lower back, on my thigh. Mine's kind of independent today. It's usually on my thigh. Now we're going to slowly turn towards the left, the opposite direction, so the heel comes down. Warrior 2. There you are, sink into the knee deep. Reach forward, you'll go deeper. Exhale to side angle. See my elbow lined up with the thigh, and then it just reaches in opposite directions. Or it stays here, or it stays here, or it stays here. Reverse warrior, inhale, breath, come up. Hand can be on the back of the thigh. And exhale, breath, high to low, push up, step back. All right, left side, inhale, breath, up dog, lift your heart. And exhale, breath, downward facing dog, return. Inhale, lift your left leg up. Exhale, step it through low lunge. Left arm up, right palm stays down. Pull yourself up, smooth, twisted crescent. Keep your right hip up, belly muscles in and twist. Exalted if you wish. Stay there or reach for 2. Turn towards your right as the heel comes down. Virabhadrasana 2, warrior 2. Inhale, reach forward. Exhale to side angle, elbows lined up with that knee, and it just keeps going. So you see my back is straight. I haven't compromised my back and added on arms. Not a good idea. You better resting the arm on the thigh, right? And then from there, reverse that warrior. Come up, stay in that front leg. Maybe the arm comes back, maybe it doesn't. Maybe it stays on the thigh. Exhale, frame your foot, step back to plank. That's all in the exhale breath. Then it makes the inhale the upward facing dog, so you have plenty of time to linger around. And exhale breath is return home. Inhale breath, lift your right leg up. Exhale, low lunge. Inhale, right arm up. Exhale, twisted crescent. Inhale, reach back. Exhale, warrior 2, turn left. Inhale, reach forward. Exhale, place your right hand on the floor. Now, if you're like, I don't want to do that, I don't want to do this move, you could place your right elbow right back onto your thigh. If you're placing your hand on the floor, I like to do busy work here for some reason. I notice I do that. And then we're going to transfer the weight into the right leg, the front leg, and try to kick the back leg up. Now, whether the leg strains or not won't be that tragic because I'm okay with you using your quadricep as you learn to kick that leg up. And I want to get space in this hamstring to inner thigh, inner groin area. So here we go. Kick it up, kick it up, kick it up, and then try to turn it out. Again, here, or you're in your side angle. They're either fine. Now, you're going to return, though, from the half moon. Try to keep your hand on the floor and bend your right knee for as long as you can to land. Then reverse the warrior on the inhale breath. Exhale, frame the foot, come home, high to low push-up. All right, left side, let's do this. Inhale, breath is up dog, and exhale, breath is down dog. Inhale, breath, left leg comes up. Exhale, step it through, low lunge. Inhale, left arm up and hold. Pull yourself up. Exhale. Inhale, exalted. Exhale, warrior two. Inhale, reach forward. Exhale, half moon or side angle. So elbow on the thigh, half moon is my head on the floor. I transfer the weight and then I kick it up. Then you're working on spinning the hip out. I like a nice big angle and kick because I really want this inner thigh stretch. That's what my objective is and why I threw this in there. The gaze is down to the side, eventually past your hand. I just almost tipped right over that stage just now. Yeah, that would have been fun. Because this is a lot. I would have went right on over and into Buddha's lap. You know why? Because Buddha's got me. Let's bend the knee slowly, land, and keep your hand on the floor. Buddha's got your back. Reverse your warrior. Inhale, reach back. Oh, big inhale. And then exhale, ride the breath home. Step back, high to low, push up. All right, friends, let's do that one more time. Exhale, breath down dog. You ready? Inhale, right leg sky. Exhale, low lunge. Inhale, right arm up. Pull yourself up. Exalted. Warrior two. Half moon. Reverse warrior. High to low push up. Upward facing dog. Downward facing dog. Left leg sky. Exhale, lunge. Left arm up. Twisted crescent. Exalted. Warrior two. Half moon. Land. Reverse warrior. High to low push up home. Inhale, upward facing dog. And exhale, downward facing dog. We are now back to 3 to 4 breaths in downward facing dog. So as you're there, you can stay there. If you need a little break to just kind of gather your breath for any reason, just come down. We're not staying long. Let's meet back in downward facing dog when you're ready. And then we're going to begin to move into the next sequence. On the next breath, lift the right leg up. Exhale, place the foot between the hands. Lift your left leg up and pause. Exhale to pyramid. You're going to lower the back foot down. It's going to be about a foot shorter than it was in down dog. So it's about a 3-foot gap from your heel to your back heel. The front heel is directly in front of the back heel. You should be able to draw one straight line. Then you bend the front knee and push the right hip back and away from you, the left hip forward and down. Frame the foot with the hands and begin to push back into your back knee. Once the back leg and knee is locked out and strong, then you can push weight into the big toe mound of your right foot, allowing that knee to gently draw back. Your forehead is near the shin. If it's very tight for you, you can add blocks, placing blocks underneath each hand to push up so you don't have to find the ground so far away. You can also bend the knee and rest the belly towards the thigh until eventually those hands come down to the mat. One day the leg will straighten out, which will create the pyramid shape of the legs. The hips, though, will typically go off all the time as the body moves in and out of alignment. Try to squeeze the legs together, and if you can, we're going to try to bring all of the weight into the legs as they squeeze together. So remember kind of that beach ball that you were holding between the knees in your bridge. Imagine it's just a gigantic beach ball. It's just really big. And I stuffed it in between your thighs as they're split. And then you're going to squeeze that ball together with your thighs. And as you squeeze together with the thighs, we engage the quadricep, of course, but the abduction will pull in. And that's where all the strength is. So we've been working it here on our sides, and now we're here on the sides of the legs holding us. So if you can stay there, your fingers might be able to get lighter. If they do, balance on the tips of the fingers or not. If you are there, you can also get rid of the hands by placing them one at a time to your tail. If you think you need them to balance, don't do this. If you are able to move on to this edge, hook your thumbs. You can also lift them up towards the sky and over your head as you drop your forehead. You could interlace your fingers together with the palms together even and bring them over your head. You can also bring them into what's called a reverse Namaskar, which is the fingertips together. I flip it up, place it between the shoulder blades into a reverse prayer. That's how you get in there while you're in this pose. So once in posture, let's take another 4 breaths. Again, feel the thighs squeezing together. Stay calm with the thoughts that you're putting in the mind. And take your last 2 breaths as clear of thought as possible. Maybe thinking about just the body and which you need to check in with to keep your body attached. Then from here, our hands are going to slide down to our tail if they're in a variation where they interlace. For everybody that's hands are on the floor, your knee will bend and your hands will then come up back. Once your knee is bent, you should be able to be here. Toppling tree, transfer your weight into your right leg, look up. You may stay here, layer 1. Layer 2, lift the left foot up just barely so your right knee is bent. Layer 3, lift the leg towards the sky. And layer 4, layer the arms as they reach up too. You're here now for 5. If you come out of it, just go back and as best you can. 4. Stay calm, breathe. 3. Just 2 more breaths now. Now on the next breath, bring your feet together. You ready? Chair pose. Circle the arms up. Sit back here. Right? Circle the arms up and sit back into your heels. Shoulders are back. So Tadasana. Toes are lifted. Weights into the heels. Shoulders are back. 5. Arms are back. Chest is lifted. 4. Reach to the elbows. Reach to the fingers. 3. Stay calm. Think of the dialogue. 2. Now, right arm comes under the left. Before you have time to think about it, just give yourself a little bit of a hug and stand up. Good. Give yourself a bit of a break and just kind of squat and stand up. Squat, stand up. So we're kind of going out of the big muscles and we're going into the bigger joints. We're going to the shoulders and the elbows and the wrists if we can. We're going into the knees, ankles, hips. All right, now come up and release your hands so the backs of the hands kind of kiss. Bring your right finger in front of your left if you can. If not, you'll just stay with the backs. If you need to stay at the hug, you can. This is called Eagle, Tadasana. Eventually the palms will come together and then they will turn, which gives us the wrist opening. Elbows pull down as you sit back. Then inhale, lift the elbows up with the right knee. Exhale, cross the right leg over the left and sit back. Your foot can stay in this position if it's as far as you can get, or it can even rest the big toe onto the floor or even on a block and bend the floor. If you can get into the full Tadasana pose, the right leg lifts up and hooks behind the ankle to create a double hook. Now the hips are usually off balance so that we need to get them to level out. You would turn your right hand into your left. Then we're going to, let's see if I can level them out. What do I see here? It's harder, it's like the opposite. And then the elbows lift up in between the shoulders. There it goes. So right there, so we're more level here. Okay, so squeeze the legs together on the side. Lift the elbows up, sit back into your hips. Pull the right hip up and back, and then squeeze the legs together again. 4. You've got this. Stay calm. 3. Try to keep your elbows right between the shoulder blades. 2. And 1 more breath. As you exhale, unravel the arms. Bring the feet side by side and arms over the head, mountain. Hands to heart center. Still, almost heat, mountain. Arms, the mountain has a lot of variations. Arms can be out here, here, here. I mean, you could do a lot with mountain. There's like 15 mountains. Right heel comes up, tree, Trikonasana. There's also different trees here. We're going to go with a basic Hatha tree. In like the hot sequence, they do a little bit of a different one. They do like half lotus or even in Ashtanga. So this one, we're going to do the one that's pretty wildly accessible. And I really like this one for the variation. So the foot is either just as a kickstand, and then I'm pushing my heart forward, or I'm resting the foot right in the nook of that calf. If I can go further, I grab the foot, I place the heel right on that crease, right where it turns into my line of my panty line, my bathing suit, my Speedo. And if I can't become still in either of these places, I would back up to the one before it. The heart moves forward, the shoulders are back. So there's a storm coming and you are a tree. And like what's going on now, let's hope that our roots are deeply planted, because if they are not, that's probably what's coming up and unraveled right now in your life. We're looking at things like our jobs differently. We're looking at our quality time that we spend with our family differently. We're beginning to look at how we prioritize things in our lives differently. And then because of that, it's starting to bring us into possibly a great awakening. So however you seem to look at what's happening, I think that one's pretty clear. It is a great awakening for many of us in many ways. And if the heart moves forward now, can we challenge ourselves in tree? Here comes the storm. So the arms are going to come up. We're going to slowly increase the movements to see if we can stay still in our tree. Doesn't mean we're not going to wobble around, but we're going to try to stay rooted. Arms are going to come up. Now, just like the blossom of the lotus flower, it emerges open. As you open it up, and again, if you fall out of the pose, just get back in. Okay, so my arms are kind of soft out to my side, really. The shoulders are back. The heart is what's leading me. Tilt. The arm that's with the knee is going to tilt down, right? So it comes down. I'm just going to rest my fingers so I lined up with that knee. Now reach through that top arm so it's strong, like someone's pulling you up to your ceiling, to your sky. Now they're pulling you up from a string attached to your left chest. Pull it that way, yes. Now slide the right elbow down, and you're welcome to go as far into the side bend as you can without falling out. Eventually you'll get to your elbow. And I don't know if that will be ever or today or never. Maybe it'll just be one day that you stop worrying about getting there. 4, 3, 2. Now when you come back up, we're going to try to go out the way we went in. So arms up, find your balance. Good, hands to the heart forward. Bring the knee forward, set the foot down. Uttanasana, forward fold. All right, now come down slowly because your two sides are going to be a little different, right? So just shake it out by bending one knee and straightening the other, and do it back and forth. Wow, right? Very good job. Very good job. Now, straighten the legs out as best you can. They don't have to straighten, but try. Lift the left leg up, inhale your breath. Exhale breath, float your left leg to the back of your mat, low lunge. Place the left palm down inside the right foot and bring the right arm to the sky. Once the right arm is up, draw your gaze towards it and move to the bottom fingertips, the left fingertips. Suck in the belly and pull yourself up for twisted crescent. When you get to twisted crescent, pull the left hip up, twist the right shoulder back, find your exalted. Reach the arms in opposite directions, maybe even bring the gaze back to challenge yourself. Now 4, 3. Think about the thighs holding onto that big beach ball. 2. Reach forward from here. Place your left hand onto the floor. Now kick your back leg up, like you're going to kick the back ball with your heel. Push the back left hip up, or the back leg's hip. Twist the right shoulder up, pull the left hip up, twist the right shoulder. Revolved half moon. So now we're here for about 5 breaths. Your left hand is very strong. If your right knee is buckling, bring your right hand to the floor. You're better just here with that leg up or on the hip than you are twisting if that knee is buckling. I'd rather you have it straight and then twist from the thoracic spine, because it's really could dump it into your lower back and it would not be optimal. Now, as you take your next breath, can you bend your left knee, the one that's up in the air, bend that one. You're going to kick it over to your right hip though. Your right thumb is down as it drops and grabs the inside of that foot or ankle. Then you're just going to try to stand up. And if you don't do it, it's not a deal breaker. Come on up, Left hand is at hip. What I mean by it, if you screwed it up, stand up, left hand on hip, kick your left leg behind you, reach down to grab the top of the ankle or the foot and bring your knees together. Once the knees are together and you're framed, you'll be in your right hip. So bring it forward back into your core. Push your chest forward and then slowly slide the left knee back. As the knee is sliding back, you can release the left arm for a revolved dancer pose. 5, 4, 3. Now open the arms. Sink into the knee. Back out of the knee. And sink into the knee. Reach forward. Place the elbow on the thigh. Don't cheat. Place the elbow on the thigh. Place your left hand onto your hip. Now bring your left arm behind you. And let it drop all the way down and push into your lower back. Because everyone cheats on the accident on this one. Now, place your right hand on your knee. And see if you can slowly straighten it out. Bring the right hip more forward and the left hip back. So my right hand can stay here, my left arm can stay here. Or I can lift that left arm out to the sky for triangle. Chin is at my left shoulder. To go deeper into the pose, I don't really change the body, just like I showed you when I got into that side angle. I'm not changing my body. I want to feel this on the right inner thigh, the right adductor. So as I'm coming down, it feels a lot like that half moon that I'm coming down. But eventually my hand, usually it stays on the shin. I mean, if you're really flexible here, this is your adductor muscle, your inner thigh. The hand could eventually go to a block or to fingertips or to a flat palm. Now the arm is pushing into the back of the leg. The right hip is pressing forward. You are feeling this in the front inner thigh. If you're feeling this in your back glute hip, how do I know that? Because everybody feels it there. Because the back and the inner thigh is so tight that the hips have turned down. And now the stretch is on the outside of the glute versus the inside of this leg. So your back hip, the one that's behind you, needs to come back. The one that's below in front needs to go forward. Now grab the floor with your toes. You should feel that adductor. Remember I said we're on the inside of the outside of that leg. Then you'll feel it go deeper. To go deeper, the hand slides down, although it doesn't need to. This is a triangle here. This is a triangle. This is still a triangle. It's all a triangle, and it's there intermediate. That side's not very warm. It's my inner side. I'm staying out of it. Going back to my side that's warm and happy, and take your final 2 breaths because you've been here for a while. Now, as you bend the right knee, you can go right back into a reverse warrior next. So bring your left arm behind you and reach back. For those of you that want to go into a bind, your right arm will go under. Yeah, and then we can send that shoulder up. Either way, take your last breath here, and then release into a plank. So you're just gonna bring your hands to the mat and step back, high to low push-up. Inhale, breath is upward facing dog, lift your heart. And exhale, breath is downward facing dog. Inhale, breath, left leg to sky. All right, step it through, hurry up, because we wanna get right into that left leg and give your right leg a time to heal. Let's lift the right one up. Frame the hips, pyramid. Float the big toe back 3 feet, drop the heel. First things first, heel to heel. Line the front heel to the back heel. Bend the front knee. Now push your back leg really strong and back. Push your left hip back with it. Now push into the big toe mound side of the foot until you have enough pressure in that left hamstring to lift you up out of your back, I should say, but let your belly surrender down to your thigh. This is my bad leg. I'm not going to stay too long. All right, so your leg needs to bend if it's really tight, if you've got an injury in there, if you've got damage. If it's healthy and you're flexible, then you're pushing towards a straighter leg, although the knee bending a little bit is what's giving you that give to get that space. So there's a compromise. And then eventually when the leg walks out or gets really straight and that leg can engage the thigh muscles, then we increase the upper body's presence into the pose and you can layer on. This one though, the belly's just flat against the thigh today, and you're learning to try to bring the awareness into that side. Eventually you'll be able to bring so much weight into the legs that you can move to the fingertips. So check that out here. And then those of you that went into balance, we go into it a little bit quicker. Your left leg was supporting you this whole time on the right. So now we can give it, it's a little more warm than the right was here. So now you can go into whatever variation of arms that you did. So either fingertips on floor, fingertips to the back of the tail, thumbs hooked for some of us and they pulled up, Fingertips interlaced for some and they pulled up. And then others went into a reverse prayer in the middle of the scapula. You're now there for another 3 to 4 breaths. So just figure out what can be still and draw your attention simply to the task with the breath. The legs become stronger, the hands get lighter and lighter until they're no longer needed. If you have variation of arms, kind of let them kind of surrender back now, but leave your hands at your tail where you interlace your fingers. If your hands are on the floor like me, bend the left knee so that your left leg can hold you as your hands come up. Once the hands are up, interlace the fingers. I'm going left them out just because I did right last time. And then shift the weight forward into your left foot. Feel free to stay here at the right tiptoe or lift that right leg off the floor barely or all the way up towards the sky for toppling tree. You're here now for 4. You're here for 3. You're here for 2. Good. Now bring your feet together very, very slow. And then when you're ready, bend the knees, chair pose, come up. Good. Pinky spin in and sit back. Shoulders are back. Heart lifts. Reach to the wrist and fingers. 4. Grab the floor with the toes. Push the knees back behind the ankles. 3. Good. Now lower your arms. Bring the left arm under the right. Bend the elbows. Hands back. Take the left fingers in front of the right. Eventually into a prayer. Good. Now inhale, lift up. Bring your left knee with you. Exhale, cross that leg. Now lower down. First thing I want you to do is just get weight into your toes or let it hang out while we get our arms ready. Now as you position the arms, frame the shoulders, lift the elbows up between the shoulders. And then if you can layer on, the foot comes up, pulls in. If you can continue, it hooks. When it hooks, their legs squeeze together and you sit back. Your hips move right and left so that they can even out. The right hip forward, the left hip back. Elbows between the scapula. Gaze is at one point of contact. Come back to your breath now and give me 3 good ones here. All right, take one more breath, and as you unravel slowly, bring your feet together, arms over the head, Tadasana. Hands to heart center, Samastiti. Lift the left heel up, turn the knee out, and either stay there or rest the foot on the calf. Stay there or grab the foot and place it on the inner thigh. 4, tree. Hands come to heart center now, shoulders are back, find your balance. Feel free to stay here or any variation as the heart moves forward. 3. Clear the mind, return to your breathing. 2. Lotus flower, pinkies and thumbs together, open up the fingers. Lift slowly as it emerges from the bottom of the lake to find its way to its life, new beginnings, at the top. That's why the lotus signifies new beginnings. As the left arm opens up towards that bent knee, the hand slides to rest on top of the knee. The roots are strong as we reach now up and over left as the left elbow slides down towards that knee. 4. 3. 2. Now the way you went in, come out. Knee forward. Set the foot down, forward fold. Bring the hands to the mat. Lift the right leg up, inhale, breath, look up. Exhale, low lunge, step it back. Now once you get back there, plant the right palm right inside that left foot. Right knee is strong and straight, left arm is at the sky. Take another breath in, move to fingertips, and pull yourself up to twisted crescent with an exaltation. Right hip up, left hip kind of pulls down. Stay there or exalt. 5. Pull the right hip up, squeeze the thighs together. 4. Pull the left shoulder back, reach to the right ribs. 3. Stay strong. Right knee, check in, right hip, 2. Now on this one, we're gonna reach forward, pass the right hand. Place the right hand onto the floor. You ready? And kick your back leg out. I'm even gonna pull this hip up if your hand happens to be over there. That's really helpful. And then twist from the middle of the back. Left arm to the side for revolve dancer. Now the chin is either down by the shoulder or the floor to start. And then it turns up to that left shoulder and eventually it will look past it. So as you're there, let's take another 3 to 4 breaths. I'll try to get myself back in here. I'm going to modify here. I'm not going to go to the full expression. So I'm just going to stay with my gaze down and my right hip pulling up. Good. 3. Now we can all move into the next layer from here. And all you're going to do is try it. You might wipe out. It might be a hot mess. It's all good. I'm going to kick over to my left butt cheek. Just kick over there. That way this left hand has a chance of grabbing it by the top of the foot of the ankle. Then just try to stand up. Maybe you do, maybe you don't. Maybe you drop the foot and maybe you have to grab it again. So if you do, grab it by the top of the ankle, bring your knees back together and find your balance. So now we're here and we're facing forward. My hips are all just hanging out. Now I'm coming into serious business. Squeeze the thighs, layer the arms, shoulders, hips. Then if you want to kick that right leg back and reach the right arm forward. 5. 4. 3. 2. 1. Float it back. Land. You ready? Let's take warrior 2. Open the arms. You might have to shimmy your feet open. I do. Depends on how you landed. All right, want to sink back into that knee over the hip, back leg straight and strong, arms reach in opposite directions. You ready? Reach forward, place the elbow to the thigh, right arm up, my back is straight. Okay, now from here, let's bring the right hand to our hip. Now just slowly straighten that front leg out. Mine's a little damaged there. Ooh. And then place the hand on the shin for support. Yeah, that one's, I can feel it right where it is. It must be in there. Right, that left shoulder now is forward. The right shoulder's back. I feel this right here. If you feel it again here, walk your hands up to the top of the thigh or the knee, and then bring the left or the bottom side shoulder and hip forward. Keep it pushing forward as you slide your fingers down, and then maybe close your eyes until you feel that maximum stretch on the adductor, and then stop, arm is up. This side's quite a bit different, but again, it's still creating the shape of a triangle. So as the gaze is up past that shoulder, just find your breath and close the eyes, maybe even if you can stay without floating over. Engage the legs. Push that left hip forward. You can do it. 3. 2. Now on the bottom breath, simply bend the bottom knee. Yeah. Now we're either reverse warrior, but my friend's going into the bind, the arm comes back, and right away you're here. And you're in the bind. My friend's in reverse warrior, you're back here hanging out. They're both pretty challenging. So just stay for another 3. Another 2. Now release and frame the foot. Step back into your plank. High to low push-up. Inhale, breath is up dog. Oh, drop your knees now to the mat. So now we're here, stay here. Remember the upward facing bow? Can you feel that here? All of that for the bow? Yeah. All of that for the bow. 2 more breaths. So I'm bringing you back from being on the right side, being on the left side. And I'm now like, let's be in the middle. So that's why I'm having you here for so long. Another middle, drop back to table, walk your knees up. So this ends up being a perfect, not only peak pose for what we did, but a perfect balancer to the sequence. As I don't really want to do any big twisting or right or left side actions anymore. It's really going to be lovely for me just to go into my back. For those of you that are very, very flexible, then you can go to right and you can go to left one last time while we're here, but make sure you spend some time with both of the feet down, so that way you're feeling that equilibrium. So start with your feet on floor, roll back, get ready for your bridge. So all I'm gonna do is bring my hands down, right? I can stay here. So if my friends are like, oh my God, I don't do that, you just do here. Bring your hands over your head, palms are down, and then you lift up. You can actually place the crown of your head onto the mat. Okay, so you can do a stopping point where you place the crown. Then you kind of reassess and then press up into straight arms. And then from here, this is the one we want. We want our feet kind of back.
So here we are in our bridge. For those of you going with one leg, my left leg becomes the middle and the right leg comes up for 5. Press the ground away. 4, 3, 2, and 1. Now come down, everybody, and bring your knees to your chest. Oh, breathe. Pull your knees wide. Breathe. This is why this is called happy baby. Grab the arches and lift. I am one happy baby right now. Oh, feels good. All right, now breathe. Chin down. I was trying to decide what my new Christmas card picture should be this year. And this pose was right up there as one of the contenders. Vote for them. The most unflattering picture for yoga. This would have to be one. All right, bring your feet together. Bring your knees together. Oh, you did it. But you're not done. Not yet. All right, we're doing one more set of that. It really is going to make you right as rain. It's hard and you're ready to give up, but that's when magic happens. When you could have walked away, you didn't. So place the feet onto the floor. Walk those feet back. Make sure they're nice and flat. If not, just stay with the hips lifted at bridge. We're moving on to wheel, hands over the head. Press all the way back up. You can stop if you want to at the, I don't know what I did. I think I did the leg down. So my right leg is down now. My left leg is up and I'm pointing that one towards the sky. Pressing through the arms and staying calm now. 4, 3, 2, and 1. My right leg was much happier there than the others. All right. All right, knees up to your chest. Oh, now happy baby. Grabbing the feet. You grab the outsides of the feet. It's funny, when I first started doing happy baby, when it came into my repertoire poses, I always grab the outsides of my feet. And then for the last many years, it's always been the inside. So it may feel better in the outside, maybe for the hips. The story of our lives. And you kind of go through stages and all this stuff. Feet together, the knees together. You guys have made it. Double wind removing is what brings us home. So as you reach the knees up, you grab the opposite elbows, and if you like, but I can't do that. The forearms, you can't do that. The wrists, you can't do that. Fingers, you can't do that. All right. And then as you're here, bring the chin to the chest, bring your gaze towards the knees, and then close your eyes. You don't need to see anything. Can you get flat to the floor on your spine? Start moving through the middle of the shoulders, the middle of the back, down to the tail. Feel the breath just kind of moving back. You remember that breath we talked about at the beginning? It seems so far away now. Now take 3 more breaths with the only objective is being completely surrendered here. Feeling super neutral and calm. Squeeze everything as hard as you can for 3. Tiny bit harder 2. And then release on 1. Let it all go. So your feet are going to come down to the floor. Your legs are going to just lengthen out. And then that's it. Let the toes just roll out. Your palms are down with the palms up, so the top of the hand on the floor. The fingers might curl up if your biceps are tight. It's okay. And then just kind of feel your mind moving back towards just the task of breathing. Just the task of breathing. And as you move to the task of the breath, let every sound that you hear through just layer on more goosebumps down your skin with the sensation of sound balancing through our chakras. Please stay just as you are. From the Book of Awakening, author Mark Nepo. The fastest way to freedom is to feel your feelings. This sounds pretty simple. But though it's easy to know you have feelings, easy to know their weight and agitations and suddenness of mood, it is another more subtle matter to feel them. That is, to let them penetrate your being the way wind snaps through a flag. This is necessary because if we don't feel our feelings all the way through, they never leave us. And then we do all kinds of unusual things to get out from under them. And this is the cause of many an addiction. I diverted myself many times by becoming involved in what surrounds my pain or sadness, while never feeling the thing itself. So when someone asks me how I feel, I wind up retelling the circumstances of the pain, not the feeling. Or strategizing what to do next, but not feeling it. Or anticipating reactions, but not feeling what's mine to feel. Maybe you swim in the pool of injustice, the anger, not diving through the wound. So though we fear it, feeling our feelings is the only clear of pain. As you slowly now just bring your attention back away from my words and now into the feeling of your own breath. Feel the movement of the breath as it moves through you now. Just notice it. And as you're noticing your breath now, allow the tips of your fingers and the tips of your toes just kind of wiggle around and maybe start brushing the finger pads together. And as you're starting to move your wrists, kind of roll them around and then roll your ankles. And then when you're ready, bend your knees, bring them to your heart. With your knees up, pull them wide, and just kind of for a couple seconds, roll side to side maybe. And then from there, you can either drop off to your side and make your way up to a seat, or you can just rock and roll forward to back. Now join me in anything seated and comfortable. We bring our hands to our heart. Our shoulders are back. Our spine is tall. And as we return our attention back to breathing, suddenly something interesting happens. We're not tired anymore. We're not wiped out. The breath is moving easy through the body. The mind is calm. And it feels like it's ready to begin. So it moves through the belly, that belly chakra of Manipura. Yellow, sun, energy. So as you gather this lightness and this compassion around our heart chakra as it moves towards your thumbs, lift the thumbs and place them between the eyes. It lines up with Anja, the seedling of enlightenment, of creativity, intuition, cognition. So together we take a last breath. Inhale, reach towards the sky. May we continue this inquiry into our enlightened path, into our best version of ourselves. And as we exhale humbly to earth, may compassion show us the way from my heart to yours. Namaste, friends. Thank you so much, you guys, for joining me again on your mats. I can't express to you how important it is to me, how important I feel it is for you, and how important I feel it is for your family, our city, our society, and our earth. And the earth has been shaken up now, and I have a lot of opinions on stuff, but I truly, truly, truly feel at the bottom of my heart that this thing is a weird silver lining, as most tragic things that happen to us are.
So when you really look at certain things that have happened in your life and you retrospect on them now, there was really these opportunities oftentimes of significant growth. And that's what I mean by the silver lining. And that significant growth isn't necessarily monetary. It doesn't mean you're going to have $1 million. And I remember when I was kind of making the shift out of, what I was doing and into a different career that I really wanted to do. And I was really scared to leave it because most of my, education and what I've worked for had been in a certain path. And I just was miserable at this job. And I remember making a list, like, this is the kind of work that talks about. I made a list. I'm like, what is the basic I can survive on? And I was willing to do all of that to take the next step. And then of course, what happens is once you're willing to shed the old that's not serving you, the new just opens the door right on up for you. Because although I was like, wow, I'm gonna have to really bite down and this is gonna be this way for me, it ended up being that way. It did itself for me very shortly after. I was able to line up with what I wanted to do with that job. And then I met my husband, I had kids. I mean, my whole life kind of went in a different direction because I was able to shed something that was no longer serving me. And I'm not saying quit your job. Maybe you lost your job or maybe you're working from home. I'm not even talking about your job. I'm talking about that which weighs you down. It served you, it served me, it doesn't serve you anymore. And that's the kind of stuff that we're looking through for some of these silver lining moments, especially when we're able to take time to reconnect with our family, and really look at what's important, because there's only so much those kids can play on the internet and eventually they're going to have to commit. I mean, trust me, you could hide their phones and I have no idea what happened. They'll play games with you. They'll have conversations with you. It's really kind of cool. And again, I have teenagers right now, so that's what I'm dealing with right now. But whatever you're dealing with in your household, you're going to know it's kind of similar. So take advantage of these moments because it's going to be it's a pivotal time, I think, in this world. I think we're going to look back on this time, you guys, in a lot of retrospect, and we're going to look at kind of what was stirring up in our feelings, what we did, where we were pointing our fingers of energy. And I don't mean I'm looking in this, you know what I mean? I mean, I read somewhere on the internet, they wanted to call the police on these girls that were riding bikes, and it's fine. I mean, it's upsetting because they were close together and I understand that, but it's I just feel like we're kind of losing focus a little bit on the bigger scope of this. And that's all I'm saying about that. So kind of take a step back and look at this. I almost ask yourself, if you had to journal this and write a story for a piece of media and it had to be accurate, I mean, how would you describe really what's happening? And it might interest you because it's also these growing things. Then you could write this down, and then in 30 years we can go back and read this and it would be pertinent to what they're dealing with then. It's all very relative. So again, the earth gives us, the universe gives us exactly what we need to know, and then what we do with it is our choice. So take a look at that. And that's a lot of food for thought. So I'll leave you with that. We do have another class going at 11 o'clock today. So just know that there's another one. There's plenty in the library now you guys get to choose from. They're going to do a Pilates and bar class. So that's coming. Yay, because I know you guys like to work your booty. I got a big sculpt workout coming, and it's also for core and for glutes. So I'll itemize that when we go back and you're looking at these different classes and what you want to take. It'll be the sculpt one for the glutes and core. And then I'll leave you on this one. Carmela, if you're watching, I stole this from Carmela. I don't know if she made this post or if she retweeted it, because sometimes we repost stuff that's hysterical. Okay, so it was a picture of her refrigerator. And on it was a note, and it said, "Go away. You were just here." Something like, "Go away, fatty," or something. You're not hungry. You were just here. I almost peed my pants. It gets better. And next to the note was a bikini. So you guys have fun with it, have fun with it. And no, you don't need snacks all day long. That's what happens when we're bored. And it's hard because, it's hard to get outside because it's raining, and then people don't want you to be outside close to people. So it's very, 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 very interesting. So board games, that's what we're looking at. So let's have some fun with it and get creative. And just know that I thank you so, so much for joining me here on your mat. Always, it just, it means the world to me. Thank you much for those of you who are able to continue to support the studio. I don't know what our future holds. I'm not stressed out about it. For those of you that come to the studio here, I'm just not. And it doesn't mean that the studio will survive this. I'm we're going to survive it because I'm strong. We're going to survive it in some way, that's for sure. But if you are able to help out, I'm giving these classes for free. They're free to everybody. Send this link on, share it to whoever you want. My gift to the world is yoga, because that's what I got, and I feel super good about that. So share it away. And then those of you that can pay, can help, please do so to keep this moving. And if not, I completely understand. Some people are like, I need to buy food. And when I find toilet paper, I need to buy some of that too. So
just know that, or buy a bidet at this point. Save up your money. They're probably half off right now anyway. Okay, you guys, joking aside, have a wonderful day. Enjoy it. As always, be safe, be smart, use common sense, and just know that I'm here if you need anything, and I love you guys so much. Peace and love. And who's with us today? Who's here? Who's here? Okay, Janine. Hi, Janine. Hi, Kathleen. Hi, Stacy. I don't know if I can tell who. Oh, here we go. Stacy, Pamela. Hi, Christine. Hi, Bonnie. Hi, Barbara. You guys, thank you so much for supporting the studio. I know you guys give donations, and it's like, so thank you so much. I can't tell you how humbling it is when that happens. I'm gonna start crying because it's not, I don't ask for help very often. And if I do, it's probably serious. So it's super moved by that. So thank you so much. All right, you guys, I love you. Peace out, and I'll talk to y'all soon. Bye. Love you guys. Peace out. And I see you on our next stream or tomorrow.